In a quiet neighborhood in Bristol, a 16-year-old girl, Becky Watts, mysteriously vanished from her bedroom without a scream, without a struggle, and without a trace. A disappearance that looked simple at first, but unraveled into one of the most chilling betrayals the UK has ever witnessed. Because the real danger wasn't outside her home, it lived inside it. Before we begin, make sure to subscribe. Every story we tell keeps these victims from being forgotten. February 19th, 2015 began with the kind of cold air that usually made Bristol feel quiet, still, and predictable. In the St. George area, life was moving at its usual slow pace. Neighbors preparing for work, buses rumbling in the distance, and the early sun filtering across rows of terraced houses. Nothing suggested that this day would become national news. Nothing warned anyone that a crime was already in motion. But inside one house, something felt undeniably wrong. 16-year-old Becky Watts was not in her bedroom. She wasn't in the kitchen. She wasn't in the shower. Her shoes, which she always wore, were still neatly beside her door. Her hair straightener, always hot in the morning, sat cold, and most importantly, she hadn't told anyone where she was going. Becky wasn't the kind of girl to disappear. She wasn't spontaneous. She wasn't rebellious. She was quiet, thoughtful, and cautious. She stayed close to home and kept her father updated. But on that morning, she was simply gone. Her father Darren and stepmother Angie moved through the house repeatedly, calling her name with growing urgency. No answer, no sound. At first, they thought maybe she had walked to her friend's house. Maybe she overslept somewhere else. Maybe her phone was dead. But minutes became an hour, and the silence became suffocating. This wasn't normal. Something had happened. And it wasn't long before the police were notified. Officers arrived and began the usual missing person protocol. Questions, timelines, last sightings. Becky's father explained that she wasn't the type to run away. She was shy, insecure, and selective about who she spent time with. Then officers turned to other people in the home. Her stepbrother Daniel answered calmly, too calmly. His girlfriend Shauna appeared nervous, but not shocked. Their responses were short, rehearsed, and suspiciously consistent. They claimed they hadn't seen Becky. They claimed they had been asleep. They claimed they had no idea where she could have gone. But investigators felt something was off immediately. Daniel hardly made eye contact. Shauna kept speaking softly, pausing mid-sentence as if measuring every word. Their body language didn't fit the moment, and their timeline had small inconsistencies, little seconds missing between their stories, gaps only careful listening revealed. Police left that day without knowing the truth, but with the first hint of suspicion. Meanwhile, the neighborhood mobilized. Posters went up. Facebook posts spread. Hundreds of volunteers searched parks, alleys, and wooded areas. Becky was shy, but she was loved, and the community came together with an intensity that grew day by day. But behind the scenes, detectives were already circling someone far closer. When investigators re-entered Becky's room for a second, deeper look, they immediately noticed something they missed the first time. The room was clean, too clean. Teenage bedrooms always have traces of the morning rush, a drawer half open, clothes discarded, a charger dangling. But Becky's room looked staged. Someone wiped something. Someone moved things. Someone straightened the bed. And the biggest clue? Becky's makeup bag. She never left home without it. Her coat wasn't gone. Her hoodie wasn't gone. Her phone, laptop, tablet, yes, those were missing, but all her personal essentials were untouched. No girl runs away without her coat in February. No girl disappears without shoes. This was no runaway. This was a crime. Investigators began digging into the family's digital history, and soon, the case cracked open. Daniel's online activity revealed disturbing patterns. Searches, messages, fantasies, some involving control, some involving teenage girls, some involving abduction. Detectives began seeing a horrifying puzzle form. Daniel had discussed kidnapping a girl in explicit detail. Not years earlier, recently. These weren't fantasies typed in passing. These were conversations with Shauna, calculated, disturbing, and repetitive, and every message read like a blueprint. This wasn't impulsive. This wasn't spontaneous. This was planned. Suddenly, police weren't searching for a runaway girl. They were hunting predators. Predators who lived with Becky. Investigators began issuing search warrants for multiple locations. The primary targets were the home Becky shared with the family, Daniel and Shauna's home, several surrounding sheds and gardens, vehicles associated with the family. Search teams moved with alarming precision because by now, they feared the worst. Inside Daniel's home, the first thing officers noticed was bleach. Too much bleach, too many cleaning products, too many freshly wiped surfaces. When police notice overcleaning, especially right after a disappearance, it raises every alarm. Then, they noticed something else. A single door in the house had been wiped aggressively. Not cleaned, wiped, as if someone wanted to erase something specific. But the true horror didn't appear until they searched a car. Inside the trunk, they found multiple bags, heavy, wrapped tightly, hidden beneath other items. Inside those bags were human remains. Analysis confirmed the heartbreaking truth. It was Becky. The search ended. The rescue was over. Becky had been gone from the moment she vanished. Police arrested Daniel and Shauna immediately. Interrogations began long, intense sessions designed to break contradictions. Shauna cracked first. Her story changed, then changed again, then changed a third time. First, she denied everything. Then she claimed she only helped clean. Then she claimed Daniel forced her. Then she tried to minimize her involvement. But the problem was simple. Their messages exposed her. Their actions exposed her. Her inconsistencies exposed her. Every time she tried to distance herself, investigators brought up a text or audio recording that contradicted her. She wasn't just an observer. She participated. Not in the killing, but in the planning and the cover-up. Daniel, on the other hand, remained cold, detached, almost arrogant. He denied murder. He blamed Shauna. He insisted everything was a misunderstanding. But detectives knew better. His phone told the truth. His searches told the truth. His fantasies told the truth. Daniel had always seen Becky differently. She was quiet, slim, young, vulnerable. She fit his twisted desires perfectly. And Shauna? She was the accomplice who never stopped him. So why did they do it? The motive was chilling. Not because it was complicated, but because it was horrifyingly simple. Daniel had an obsession with teenage girls, an obsession with control, an obsession with abduction fantasies. He had spoken about wanting to kidnap a petite young girl numerous times. He had described it in messages. He had planned it mentally. And Becky, unfortunately, lived under the same roof. She wasn't targeted randomly. She wasn't chosen by chance. She was chosen because she was close, accessible, and vulnerable. The betrayal was deeper than the crime, and the motive showed premeditation, a dangerous fixation. Rebecca never knew she was living beside. As the case reached trial, public outrage grew. The courtroom became a place of unbearable pain. Every detail was dissected. Every piece of evidence was laid bare. Prosecutors revealed the internet searches. They revealed messages between Daniel and Shauna. They revealed the timeline of the crime. They revealed the horrific aftermath. Daniel's face remained emotionless. Shauna cried in short bursts, not consistent grief, but sudden reactions during key evidence. Witnesses described Daniel as controlling, manipulative, and disturbed. They described Shauna as submissive, easily influenced, but not innocent. Jurors listened to everything. When the verdicts came, Daniel guilty of murder, Shauna guilty of manslaughter and involvement. Justice was served, but no sentence could restore what was lost. The story of Rebecca "Becky" Watts spread across the UK and beyond, not because of the brutality alone, but because of the betrayal. People expect danger to come from strangers, but this case reminded an entire nation that danger sometimes comes from the people closest to you. Becky's family was shattered. They lost a daughter, a sister, a friend. They lost trust. They lost their sense of safety. They lost a piece of their world that will never return. The country mourned with them. Vigils were held. Candles were lit. Flowers lined the streets. Becky's memory became a symbol, a reminder of vulnerability, innocence, and the consequences of unchecked darkness. Today, Becky's story is still told, not because of the crime, but because she deserves to be remembered. A shy, sweet, soft-spoken girl who loved writing and music, taken from the world for reasons that never should have existed. Her case continues to raise awareness about signs of predatory behavior, the importance of mental health and vulnerability, the dangers hidden within complex family dynamics, the need to speak up when something feels wrong. Becky's voice may have been silenced, but her story continues to echo, and as long as it's told, she will never truly be gone. If this story moved you, if you believe victims like Becky deserve to be remembered, then make sure to subscribe, like, and share this video. Every true crime case we cover keeps their stories alive.